Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night here, live and exclusive on Top Split TV. We have round 2 of season 17 of the Sunday Night Lights at Road Atlanta this week, where we have once again brought out a bumper crop of the top of the top, the creme de la creme of Skippy races for the ANZ Strength of Field race. Once again, joining me in the commentary booth is the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, big race ahead of us here tonight.
Yeah, indeed, Alex, and to quite the surprise, we had a 4,500 pre-race strength of field, and in this one, we've managed to topple that by 200, and we have a 47.07 strength of field to take on Road Atlanta here tonight.
Yeah, for those of you playing at home, the strength of field is roughly the average skill rating applied to each of the drivers here, and of course we had about 80 plus drivers sign up here tonight, and those 80 plus drivers are divided into splits in order of their skill rating, also known as their I rating, and the top 18 of them are here with us tonight. Car 18, Mr. Kevin Henderson, stalwart of the Sunday Night Lights. He was the last guy in here, and you can see on the screen there, 3,815. That's what you needed to get into this race here tonight. All the way up to Mr. Hendrickson, representing Team Torpedo with 6,665. It's a long way to the top of the pops there for Mr. Hendrickson, but certainly this calibre of field is unlike any we've seen before here at Sunday Night Lights, and it's promising to be a bumper night out, Corey.
Yeah, indeed, Alex, and I see that we've got a lot of very familiar names here in the race tonight. Well, we've also got a couple of new names, one most notably Brenton Hobson. People will affectionately know him as Hobbo88. Normally does some of the V8 Supercars strength of field racing tonight. He is here making his debut in Sunday Night Lights in the Skippy, Alex.
Yeah, great to see Hobbo out there. Mr. Hobson joining us for the first time, as you say, as we see Anthony Catt, the first one to finish a solo qualifying lap, along with Ben Snell, sitting up there in the 36 mids. Track temp out there tonight, a balmy or a stinking hot 43.9 degrees, 44 odd degrees means that the guys will be stretching themselves to get in the 35s on their second lap. Great to see Toshimasa Hanada back out there representing Japan, of course, here tonight. Car number 12, I beg your pardon, currently sitting third, but great nonetheless to see him back out there. Similarly, car number 2, Julian O'Fray. Great to see him back out there looking to put on another strong performance, Corey.
Yeah, but at the moment it seems that, at least on his first lap, Alex, he might be struggling here a little bit with the new model of the Skippy. I know in the podcast today, you and Ben Snell went into great detail about the Skippy and how it's changed. But Alfredo on his first lap has only managed a 10th placing at the moment, Alex.
Yeah, correct. Leading the way in that magic 35 zone. 1 minute 35 that is. With a 35.8 is Tim Hendrickson from Team Torpedo, of course. Leading the way on that opening foray around, although he's just... looks like he might have dropped from the server, or at least had some network, because he zeroed out or disappeared from the timing screen immediately. Sammy J. Toykala, last season's champion, of course, he's back out there. He's currently sitting second on provisional scoring, just the 3/10 behind, and it does indeed look like Hendrickson. No, he's back now. Looks like he had some major issues with the car and or his network connection, and doesn't look terribly happy about it either. Great to see Cristobal Otero Roman out there as well. Looks like he's finished his qualification stint in P9. K34 Sim Racing on Twitch, of course. Our Iberian friend. Toshimasa still out there. Hanada looking to better his P12 provisionally at the moment. Gorkrocha, another one of the leading ANZ drivers. He's out there representing Top Split Racing Team, of course. Coming around, what's he going to do here as he crosses the line? 36.9 is all he could manage. I'm not sure if that's his first or his second lap. We'll have to come back and check on Mr. Gorkrocha later in proceedings. Stuart Adcock, another ANZ driver on his cooldown lap. Does not look like he set a time, or he did. No, I cannot see one laid down. There's a few of them still out there coming to round out. Not sure if they're cooling down or not, Corey.
Yeah, it's very hard to tell, Alex. But with the way that these guys are so aggressive with running around this track, just getting a very small off track is very possible around here. A couple of danger zones, including that turn 3 chicane area. That's caught me out quite a few times, especially with the way that the car slides off throttle, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see how Mr. Cat goes around. A 48.8, certainly not the time that he was looking for. Only a couple remaining out on track. Hobson, as you mentioned, let's see if he can improve on his position in P8. Quite a good time or position at 36.4. Considering his lack of experience, usually, as you say, in the tin tops, joining us here for the first time. I think that about does everyone for quali. While we wait, why don't we take a look at the scores as they stand after round one? Of course, we saw that fantastic battle between Hendrickson and Antoniades, leaving them first and second after week one. Sammy J. Toykala, returning season champion, just essentially waited in the background and bided his time before landing P3. Ben Snell and Tim Gorkorcher rounding out your top five, leading the ANZ charge. Now, speaking of charges, let's take a look at our grid tonight after the completion of qualification. Newly branded Team Milo's own Sammy J. Toykala in P1, pipping Tim Hendrickson from Team Torpedo, who did not appear to get his second lap in. Team of Escalampy, the other flying Finn there in P3, some just under 2/10 behind. Kane Halliburton, great to see Kane out here on a Sunday night in P4 with a 136 dead. Tim Gorkrotcher, the first ANZ driver for Top Split Racing with a 36 flat. Sasha Gourlay, great to see Sasha back as well from Simatok Esport, I should say. P7 to Håkon Grebstad for Team Ovaltine. Great to see Håkon back up the order a bit this week. P8, Anthony Catt from UKNI. P9, Brendan Hobson, another of the ANZ drivers, I should say. P10, Sieste Boersma. Hopefully I'll get that better tonight in P10. P11, a great quality there from Kevin Henderson with 36.4. Lee Anderson from UKNI in P12. Going over the page, Julian O'Fray will have his work cut out for him from P13. Toshimasa Hanada similarly in P14. Ben Snell from Team Milo. Uncharacteristically poor qualification from Ben for this race. Cristobal Otero Roman representing across Simart Competition in P16. For him, Antoniades similarly very tough going there for the Thrustmaster Mivano racer. Stuart Adcock in P18, the final driver on the grid and the final ANZ driver indeed. Strength of field 47.07. Track temp, the all-important figure there of 43 degrees. Corey, as the guys rev the engines, get us going here tonight. The flag marshal waves the green flag and we are away on the first of 15 laps, I should say. I thought it was 14 if memory serves, but it is 15 as they approach this very challenging turn one. How many abreast can they go? They're all getting single file. They're 2 by 2 behind. A bit further down the field, they've all seemed to have made it through okay. Up to this blind third gear chicane at the top of the hill for turn 3. Down through the S's now, this long snaking procession of cars. They've all got it sorted there. The rear of the 8 car stepping out there. Halliburton, he's hung on to it. Up again. Oh, how's he hung on to that, Corey? Outstanding driver, driving from the UKNI driver. Looks like he might have picked up a slowdown as he pulls over to driver's left to let the rest of the field go by. I imagine he's happy to get away with his skin intact, Corey.
Oh, he is very lucky indeed, Alex, but he got a double whammy there with losing the car there, but managing to control it. But the worst thing is getting that slowdown on the first lap before iRacing has a chance to properly calibrate your slowdown timer. That is seriously going to affect him as this race continues. As we go thundering down this back straight now, back up to the leaders. It looks like we've got a 3-car battle between Hendrickson, Toykala, and Vascalampy. Toykala in unusually different colors this week. Everyone's used to seeing him in that Pokemon car. This week, he's representing Team Milo, Alex.
He is indeed. Oh, Gawcrotcher off to the side there. Keeps it on the grass, but back on the track. Cost him that gap that he had over the trailing pack. But yes, you're right. Vascalampi also sporting a new livery. We used to custom see him in the blue and white. Now in the red and black. We have Team Milo in front with Sammy J in front of Vascalampi. And then, of course, 10 Torpedoes. Oh, we lost. Is it Gawcrotcher? It is. Out on the grass. Oh, watch this re-entry here. How's he going to go? Oh, plenty of skill in the drivers around him as well. Saw him coming and allowed for the safe rejoin as they go 2 by 2 now. He's got Anderson. Oh, and in the rear, is that Antoniadis? It is. Antoniadis has lost the rear of the car there. Let's go check it out, see if he had any help. I don't know that he did, but we'll go on board or at least follow him through this S's section now. As he came through, yeah, looks like contact with Roman there. The inside there. There's not enough room for both cars to get through safely, and it spews Antoniadis off into the outside fence, and he'll be on his way to the pits, Corey.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate for Antoniadis. That is a very tight section. It's very hard to get cars to go through there 2 by 2, and both of them come out alive on the other side. At the moment, I'm looking at the progress of Mr. Brenton Hobson at the moment. Looks like he has just squeezed his way up into the 8th position, getting around Borsma. I'm fairly sure is the pronunciation of that name. He's made sure he's kept the car tidy at the moment. Not bad for his first run in the skippies here, Alex.
Yeah, doing very, very well. Up to P7 by the looks of it. Up a couple of spots and holding his own amongst this top flight field. The car 13 of Brenton Hobson. Now the lead pack. Oh, who did we lose there? I thought I saw someone going off, dropping down the order. There's a couple that might have dropped down. I was just caught in between camera angles and we missed it, unfortunately. Up the front, though, we've got Vascalampi trailing Toykala, trailing Hendrickson. Those three, no doubt, will look to run line astern without doing too much damage to the lead that they've got, which is currently 3 full seconds, 3.1 seconds behind is Sasha Gourlay on the front of this second pack with Cat and Hobson, as you mentioned, in there. He's now up to P6. Looks like whoever we lost was in front of Hobson, and he's now been the benefactor. Oh,
Alex, we got
big
driver
one
in the
behind.
back.
Big one behind. Who did we lose? I'm just going to try and find who it was. Was it? Yeah, it was O'Fray and Henderson by the looks. Let's go and grab a replay of that. We'll hop on board with O'Fray. Henderson's... Oh, he's up the inside of Henderson into the crucial turn 7. And he's just, clipped a bit of netcode. 2 by 2 through there is really challenging and not the way you really want to do it, given that the longest straight is straight afterwards, and you're really going to compromise your run through there if that's the case. As I try and get the live pictures back here, folks. Apologies for that. But no, that's not the way either of them saw that going. As we jump back up the front, as we see Toykala now sitting on front, not settling for that position as I thought he might do, behind the flying Tim Hendrickson, the flying Dutchman as it were. These three well and truly clear now, 4 seconds as it turns out ahead of Gourlay, Hobson and Cat. Corey, really turning into a battle of 2 packs at this stage.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And I think Sammy J's thought process right now is the only way he's going to be able to try and beat Hendrickson is if he can get in front and just stay in front the entire race. And he wanted to be doing very well for his new team in Team Milo. And at the moment, I think he's doing the team quite the justice. And going back to this second pack, the fact that Hobbo is up this high at the moment in P5 really goes to speak to the skill level that he's developed running the tin tops so consistently. And you know, he's got some of the regulars around him being in Gourlay and Cat, and it's really good to see him mixing it up with these top flight skippy drivers. As he's going for an outside move there, which will become the inside coming into this little chicane here before the end, and he gets that spot from Gourlay. And that makes it 4th position now, Alex.
Yeah, great drive so far, up 5 positions. Expect that to change though, as these guys trade positions into that very chicane more often than not as they try and get an advantage. You see Gourlay poking the nose up the inside now. He's, hang on, I'll hop on Gourlay. He's gone past as it turns out, and of course the camera work there by Mikel has missed it. But Gourlay getting it done at turn 1. Not the quickest way to get around here, swapping at turn 1. Gourlay, though, feeling that he's probably got the pace through the twisty bits, decides he'd like to lead as they come through the S's now on the lap 5. Middle stages now. Tricky downhill section here. Of course, this car really tackling the curbs, the high curbs here, particularly through here at turn 5, I should say. Really challenging corner. The change in elevation and the way the car handles these days, really making it a fun track here at Road Atlanta. As the leaders now going through turn 7, that all important turn 7. You will see this is the place where you get the draft. This is the place where you see the passing done into this next chicane, as we might just take a look from the perspective of Timo Vascalampi here, sitting in P3, biding his time. Once again, Hendrickson moving over to driver's left to allow the full extent of the draft. So the racing line taken in the leapfrog attempt by Toikala, now leading through, but Hendrickson putting all sorts of pressure over the back of the newly minted Team Milo livery of Toikala now, Corey. Look, I tell you what, this race will no doubt, unless there is a mistake, come down to that final chicane that we just saw.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting to see who's going to be trying to get that inch as they're coming into that final chicane there. As we see now in the second chase pack, there is another change with Anthony Catt now up into the 4th position, Gourlay in 5th, and Hobson has slipped down to P6. And just behind them, we have another battle pack going, led up by Håkon Grebstad in the 17 car. And he's got Ontario Roman and Stuart Adcock and Halliburton in there as well, Alex.
I'll tell you what, Grebstad in 17 is not something you see very often. And I'll tell you what, it's a very unfamiliar position. 3,900 odd I rating, or just a tick under, and his car 17. That goes to talk to the strength of this field here tonight that we were talking about before. The other thing that it goes to show, you've got Mr. Halliburton, one of the top skippy steerers going around, tucked right in behind Grebstad as they go through that crucial turn 7 now, leading onto the back straight. You see Halliburton, he will sit in behind, he'll move out to driver's right to get that pass done. You see Grebstad making it easy for him on the run down the back straight, so he doesn't have to change his line, reducing the track distance needed to be covered. But is he going to let him through? Is he going to battle it? Yeah, he just lets him through, as we see tucked in behind them. Who's that making the move? Is it Roman? Yeah, poking the nose up the inside. It was Roman with Stuart Adcock, the other ANZ driver in this field, the 10-plated car, getting themselves sorted, line astern. This is a pretty deep pack in this very strong field, Corey.
Yeah, as you said, Alice, it just goes to speak to the skill level of all these drivers, that, you know, they can manage to do all of this leapfrogging and still manage to be fast. I mean, I'm pretty sure this second pack is actually catching up to this middle pack here that is currently still being led by Anthony Catt. But yeah, actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It's being led by Gourlay at the moment. But they have definitely caught up to this pack at the moment, Alex. So this is going to turn from a 5-car and a 4-car battle into a 9-car battle for 4th.
Yeah, you can see that it is stretching very deep into that field. Of course, 3rd down to, who's that behind Grebstad? Adcock in 10th. So you're going to have about 7 or 8 cars there vying for that position. And who knows, behind them you've got Roman, who's no slouch, with Lee Anderson, who himself has got a bit of turn of pace. They could make this 10 deep by the end of it. Wouldn't that be something? Meanwhile, jumping back up front, you've got Hendrickson, I should say, tucked right in behind the Team Torpedo driver, poking the nose right up the tailpipe of Team Milo's Toikala there, with Vascalampi just sitting there patiently waiting for the closing stages, perhaps to put on a move. He's now 6/10 behind. Looks like Hobson's had an incident there. Let's go back and check out what happened there. No doubt into that chicane. Let's see, as we see Hobson coming down. Gourlay tucks in by the looks. Hobson and Gourlay coming in there as we slow into that braking zone. And he's just, No, he's just been hit in the rear. He's just been collected by, who's that in the car? Is that the 10 car of Adcock, was it? Yeah, it was Adcock, 16 car of Adcock into the braking zone. And the two ANZ drivers bringing themselves unstuck there. Not a great way for Hobson and Adcock to complete that lap around here at Road Atlanta, Corey.
Yeah, no, that is very unfortunate for Brenton Hobson, who was just quite comfortably sitting there in what a lot of other people know as his meme position of P6. Hopefully he'll be able to battle his way back through, but being already halfway through this race, Alex, that might be a little bit of a tall order at the moment.
Yeah, got about. It doesn't look to be having terribly much by way of damage. Must have been a clean hit to the rear of the gearbox. But he is some 3.7 seconds behind Anderson, who's in front of him and battling with Roman. That does thin that pack out a little bit. You got Gourlay and Cat now leapfrogging up the back straight with Halliburton now. He's had some sort of eventful race as Halliburton. He's now tucked in behind them in P6 with Grebstad and Adcock managing to hang on the tail end of that. So again, speaking to that being somewhat of a pretty clean hit, not looking to carry too much damage either, and these guys will potentially regroup because they're all within that magic 1 second's draft, and this could concertina somewhat in the remaining 7 laps, Corey.
And we can only hope that it will, Alex, not just from a broadcast point of view, but just from an entertainment point of view for us doing the broadcast. I do love seeing a good battle. And if these guys can get going again and get back together, then it could be a very entertaining final lap. As we go back to the leading pack now, it looks like we've still got Hendrickson in the lead as they're coming around the bottom of the track. These two quick little right-handers before they get onto that long back straight, the most important straight on this track being as long as it is. And if these guys are still playing their cards pretty smartly, then we should see Sammy J, Toykala taking the lead back by the time they get out of the S's there, Alex.
Yeah, it was Hendrickson getting quite a poor run actually out of the turn 7 there, and it really made it quite simple as we see Vascalampi now closing up a bit into the braking zone into 10A and B. Hendrickson in the rear of the car stepping out somewhat. These three, of course, no strangers to each other and running nose to tail. They do it a fair bit. The standard and the quality of these three combined very high indeed. Of course, Vascalampi took out the overall official season last season, and Toykala took out Sunday Night Lights in P2 in the official overalls. We see the rear of Toykala's car really stepping out, really running to the far left. Very challenging first corner here. A lot of guys having trouble with that. As we saw Gorkrocher run off there earlier. I'm surprised more didn't actually, but there again, the calibre of this field really potentially preventing that, but it has caught out many Skippy drivers this week, no doubt. Another one to do so here is at turn 5, bump on the inside, apex there, spit out to the right, use all the track and more there without picking up the incident point as you run down this short back straight now into turn 6. The right hander, third gear, click down 1 gear, potentially 2, depending on if you're in traffic and you want the drive out and the extra rotation, but keeping the rolling speed up in second is the way to go here most often to hit this long back straight, Corey.
And making sure you get that turn 7 right is absolutely paramount, Alex. As we've seen our Team Torpedoes, Tim Hendrickson just tucking right in behind Sammy J, not looking at trying to do the leapfrog on this run, but he is poking the nose up in the inside just to let Sammy J know that maybe it's time that they start racing and stop playing around. And this could be where things start to get interesting now, Alex. Looks like these guys are starting to get a little bit racy with each other.
Yeah, 5 to goes across the line this time. Team Torpedoes, Tim Hendrickson really looking more to defend from Vascalampi at this stage, I think, rather than attack the Toykala, because he's in the box seat for that final lap. If he overtakes there, the guy in front is at a disadvantage on that final run down into the last chicane. Jumping back to that second pack now, we've got Gourlay in front of Cat and Halliburton Halliburton looking very racy now. Up into the turn 3 chicane. Blind third gear corner there. Quick shift now up into fourth as you come down through the S's. Watch the rear of the car. Comes unloaded and potentially steps out here. Caught plenty out this week here, of course. And then again, up into turn 5 here. Very bumpy ride through here. A lot of guys dropping the spring perch offset to raise the front of the car this week to make sure they don't get any wing damage. But a couple in this package, we see Halliburton going around the outside now, getting the job done over Cat there on the entrance into turn 6. Into turn 7 now. Gourlay, very quick amongst his peers here, looking to lead this train at the back straight on the tail end of lap 11, Corey.
And as you like to say, Alex, there's no better place to lead than the front. And Gourlay showing that he knows what to do when he does reach the front. It'll be interesting to see how these guys are going to start handling these last few laps. It looks like they still might be doing just a little bit of a leapfrog with just the first 2 people in the line. But I reckon very soon, within the next lap or 2, the gloves are going to start coming off, Alex.
Yeah, well, these guys are really settling for the fourth position. As we see, there's a bit of a change in the order now, and it's a bit spread out up the front as Hendrickson and Vascalampi are now 1 and 2 with Sammy J. Toykala sitting in P3 some 7/10 behind. I suggest that the move at some stage was made by Vascalampi, and that's really, look at the rear of Toykala's car now, skipping away from him. He's really loose in the rear end of that car, and he's in danger, and yes, he has. He's dropped off quite substantially and is now out of draft range of the front 2 cars, and we'll have to work very hard indeed to get back on there. Interesting to see if we can't pick up the incident that caused that down the track. No one looking like they're sporting any damage, and it's really now Vascalampi 6/10 behind Hendrickson. That'll close up in this straight, but if they get a clean exit, no, Vascalampi's got a poor run through turn 7 there and maintains 6/10. Now back to 5. Toykala now has done a fantastic middle sector there, and he's now just 8/10. He picked up 3/10 through turns 5, 6 and 7, and we'll leave this as a 3-car race to the finish there, Corey.
And all this is just very beneficial to Hendrickson right now, Alex. If he can get a little bit of a breakaway, we know that he has the skill within him to take an inch and make it a mile, so to speak. But it's good to see Sammy J still holding on just very slightly to the back of these 2. Hopefully he can close back up and we can continue this 3-way battle for the lead. And with just 2 laps to go next time around, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys play their cards as we come towards the business end of this race, Alex.
Yeah, Toykala now 7/10 behind, caught up some half a second in the... oh, look at the rear of the car again. He's sliding while they're driving that thing through turn 3 there. That blind right-hander, of course. Cost him a little bit of time that time, actually, as they go through turn 5 now. Very bumpy ride, as we said before. Looks like he might be a bit of the touch of the overdriving there, just to try and make up that gap as Vascalampi tucked right in behind. We'll keep our eyes peeled on that front group. And look at that, he closes up so much through turn 6 and 7 there. Gained full 2/10 in that middle sector once again. Back to 4/10, and we will be 3 abreast at some stage, no doubt, before this race ends, as we go 2 now. And it is Vascalampi looking to go from the front, and Toykala looking to make it a challenging run for him at some stage down the track. Now jumping back to the second pack here, we've got Gourlay on front with Halliburton now. Oh, and they're going to make it 3 wide here. The 11 car of Anthony Cat said, it's time for me to move up the front. Can they make it 4 wide? It looks like Adcock's going to try and get up the inside as well. 2 by 2 they go. Noah's Ark style through 10A, 10B as well. Who's going to get the drive there? It's Halliburton coming out, all smiles at this stage, but it's Cat on the outside as well. And that's relegated Adcock and Gourlay, but they are going to continue to go side by side. Can they go 3 wide into turn 1? That's insanity, surely. Are they going to get out on the other side of this? Okay. They have on the entry. Oh, they're running really dangerously wide near that curbing on the outside there. That'll hook you. Oh, is there contact there? No. Wheel to wheel, if anything, and they've got away with it. These guys putting on some sort of show here as they head through the S's, Corey.
And this just This is just incredible racing at the moment, Alex. The skill that these guys have gone 3 wide twice in less than half a lap and managed to pull it off and return back to single file racing. This is why we come here to do these broadcasts, because without us, stuff like that gets missed. And wow, just that is absolutely incredible. It's I'm glad to see Sasha Gourlay is now out on top with Halliburton right behind him. Cat has slipped all the way back to fifth now.
Yeah, as we jump back up the front now, this is where the business end is really going to start unfolding here as we see Toykala actually jumping out of the draft now, and they're all sitting back waiting for that final run into this very chicane at 10A and 10B. No leapfrogging anymore. These guys are keeping their cards close to their chest, whereas in this other pack now, these guys are vying for position because they know they got one chance to get in the second or third slot in this pack, as we see Adcock make the move up the inside of Cat there. He wants P3 in this pack because you can go the double draft pass here, as we see Gourlay take the tighter line into the final corner now. These guys really counting their chickens or their cards, holding them close to their chest, I should say, prior to this final lap. This time there's no 3 wide. This time they've got themselves, they know they're sorted here, and they've got no time to catch up any gaps that open up. These guys will be very, very tight through this final section. Similarly, through this, weaving section of the S's. Up through turn 5 now for the leading pack. These three, again, sorting themselves out for their run down the final straight. This is where it will be decided. These final few corners of this last lap. Now, turn 6, very important. Turn 7, even more so. The run out of turn 7. Oh, Vascalampi runs a bit wide there. Hendrickson moves over. Oh, he's weaving now. He doesn't want to give the draft to Toykala. He doesn't want to give the double draft pass. Now, Vascalampi moves over the driver's left to make sure he's got the inside run. These guys ducking and weaving anywhere. Vascalampi says, I'll have the inside run. Toykala says, no, sir. I will have the inside run. They're going to go 3 wide, Corey, into this final 10A and 10B. Toykala gets the nose clear. Is there contact? A little bit there. They've held on to it. Toykala gets the drive. Hendrickson up the inside. Toykala's going to move straight over to the right to cover off the inside line here, or is he going to leave the door open? No, he's not. It's going to be Toykala's race now, ahead of Hendrickson. And I beg your pardon, it was Vascalampi. Oh, the colours have got me now. As we see Adcock now running up the lead of the second pack, and it is actually Adcock ahead of Cat and Halliburton and Gourlay there. Grebstad there covering. Oh, I got so excited. Did I call it right or wrong? I thought it was Toykala. I got all confused. The livery scared me. Look at these two kissing cousins after the race, Corey. Hope I called that right somewhere in there, mate, because it was bloody exciting.
Well, I can confirm it was Toykala from Hendrickson from Vascalampi there, and what an incredible final sector that was. Those three absolutely skilled drivers showing everyone just the skills that they've got there, Alex.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can go back and grab Toykala for those closing stages. Actually, we might ride on board Vascalampi and just hop on the cockpit if I can find it. Because this is what he was looking at, folks. 2 cars in the middle of a sandwich there. Toykala comes across. Oh, in that braking zone, there's a little bit of contact there between the 2 finished drivers. How does Toykala get it done from there? Look at the narrow entry that he's got. Misses the slowdown. Hendrickson outbrakes himself somewhat. As we see, and he's really left him no more than a car's width there, if at all. Car's width, I should say, if at all. Vascalampi not getting any sort of drive out of there. Now, we called it during the race. Toykala really had to cover the inside line there because there is the nice drive and run down the inside into that final corner. And as we let the tape roll a bit further, he covers the right-hand side. And then that's all she wrote as far as Hendrickson taking this one out. Rides the curve as much as he can, tries to bounce up the inside, but the run was all for Toykala, and he's taken out his first Sunday Night Lights race of the season, Corey.
And what an incredible run that was. I reckon Sammy J's been testing out the limits of that inside curb there in the final chicane in previous races. He knew just exactly how much he could take before he would get the slowdown. So congratulations to Sammy J. That was an amazing finish. And congratulations to just everyone who showed up tonight. Only one DNF from what I can tell, which was Tim Gorkrocher, Alex.
Yeah, speaking of the results, let's go through them here, folks. I got so flustered there at the end, but it was indeed Savvy J Toykala taking out the top step on the podium here tonight, representing Team Milo for the first time. And it's been a while since we've called Team Milo on the top step of the Sunday Night Lights podium. But round 2 here at Road Atlanta, we have done just that, with Sammy J Toykala taking out the big one very, not convincingly, but in very exciting fashion there. That final chicane was all where it happened, with he and Tim Hendrickson representing Team Torpedo in P2, and position number 3 going to his Finnish compatriot in Timu Vaskalampi. What a fantastic display of controlled driving, lightning fast during the early stages of the race, and then it all cut loose in that final lap. Stuart Adcock leading the way for the ANZ drivers after unfortunately having contact with another of his brethren in Brenton Hobson earlier in the race, but managed to fight his way on for P4. Anthony Catt for UK&I in P5, rounding out that top 5. P6 to Kane Halliburton, who had a bit of an adventurous run, it has to be said, but did a great job to bring it home in P6. P7 there went to Sasha Gourlay from Simitok Esport. Another tough night out for him, but the pace was so hot up front. We're used to seeing him a bit close to the pointy end, perhaps in the coming weeks for Sasha. P8 tonight, the number 17 played at Hawkon Grebstad for Team Ovaltine. Decent result from Hawkon there inside the top 10. Plenty of points on offer there as well. P9 went to Sieste Boersma. There we go. I think I might get it right. Sorry if I'm butchering that in P9. P10, Lee Anderson from UK&I. Great to see Lee back. P11, Cristobal Otero Roman from across Simart Competition. He was up a couple of spots, I think, 5 in fact, which is tough to do in this sort of field. It was massive, actually. A decent drive there for Cristobal, although I do think he would expect to be a bit further up, perhaps still wrestling with the change to the car. Interesting to see what comes of him in the coming weeks. P12, Brenton Hobson, his first stint out in the top split TV's coverage of Sunday Night Lights. Great to see a strong Aussie driver coming in and joining us here on a Sunday night. Hopefully bigger and better things for him if he continues to join us. P13 as we go over the page, Toshimasa Hanada up 1 spot from where he started. Perhaps not where he wanted to finish as well. Ben Snell in P14 representing Team Milo. He's had a strong week here, not the race that he was looking for after not qualifying strongly. This car suiting him this season, but not here tonight. Kevin Henderson, after that incident that he had at turn 7 there, all the way down in P15. P16 for Fahim Antoniadis for Thrustmaster Mivano Racing, not where he would have liked to have ended up, but certainly quali not going well for him tonight, and that's probably told the story of his race. Julian O'Fray similarly down a number of positions after battling his way mid-pack, and that incident again at turn 7 with Henderson turning his night not into what he would have liked. Tim Gorkrocher representing top split racing team, qualified so well here tonight, but retired after a couple of incidents, off-track excursions, you might say, and they ended up putting a finish to his night. Strength of field once again, folks, 47.07. Fantastic bumper crop of drivers, and we do appreciate the support, of course. Fastest lap going to Mr. Vaskalampi in draft tonight, 134.9. That is the first 134 I've seen in a race this week, and I've done a handful of them. That's an outstanding time, just demonstrating, look, it was draft assisted, but the pace was very hot out there tonight, Corey.
Yeah, the pace was definitely very electric tonight here, Alex. And that 134.9, that is quite incredible. I haven't seen a 134 here either. But, just the general overview of the race, everyone was on limit for the entire race, and we managed to get in, I would say, a 99% clean race there, Alex. It was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, sure was. I'm just trying to see if I can't grab some pictures to go with our post-race interviews. I might have grabbed the wrong one. Let's Let's hop here. There we go. All right, we'll wait for that to kick off. Got a few guys in the green room. I've got my volume control ready in case anyone's up nice and loud. We'll go in finishing order. We'll bring up first Team Torpedo's own Tim Hendrickson. Tim, back-to-back podiums tonight. Not the position you were looking for, no doubt, but looked like a pretty challenging finish to the race here at Road Atlanta this week.
I rolled the Road Atlanta dice, and it didn't end up on my whatever you'd call it. It was a very Road Atlanta race, let's call it.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that exciting, if I'm honest.
Yeah, mate, rolled the dice and came up snake eyes by the looks. Once the front three got away, it was just a matter of maintaining that lead and laying down the laps. But certainly that final chicane was where it all happened. But that's sometimes a criticism. It can be said of Skippy Racing, but I tell you what, the midfield there was elbows out everywhere, and that's more what we're accustomed to. But certainly, you came close there. It looked like a final, a decent run through that final chicane. Talk us through how that laid out.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I had to leave a bit of a gap, so I fell back before that for the final double round Hunter to at least have a run on Timu. But of course, he made a mistake to mess up my run, as you do at Atlanta. And from there on in, it's literally like anything could happen. Anyone can win. And yeah, I just decided to take the right side because I hoped we would have cleared Timu, because if that was the case, I probably would have been able to get the run. But as Timu was still there, kind of messed up my run. Gave Sammy the inside, which is the preferred line if you're 3 wide like that, and he took it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, it was an action-packed final sector, that's for sure. But that's the way it goes here, as you say. You lead a bit of a draft train at the front, but you guys certainly had the strength to run away. Speaking of strengths, mate, a lot of points on offer here tonight. Biggest field of the week again. So, I really appreciate you guys turning up and putting on such a great show, even if it was somewhat. Well, I'm not going to call it sedate up the front, mate, but not action-packed as you might have liked. So, listen, mate, before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Of course, it's Team Torpedo. I don't know why. They're not particularly useful. They're not particularly... but, they're good lads, I guess.
Yeah, very good. All right, mate. Well, thanks once again for your support of the series. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you in the coming weeks and continuing our run of bumper fields and leading the way as far as Skip Barber Racing goes.
Getting close to that 5K off now.
He's hoping, mate. We'll catch you in the coming weeks.
Bye.
Yeah, Corey, Team Torpedo's own Tim Hendrickson, showing once again that he's really got the chops when it comes to steering one of these cars around most tracks. It could have gone, as he said, rolling the dice could have gone either way this week, and he's come up just that fraction short, but still P2, and I feel like there's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And what a great character Mr. Hendrickson is. Just absolutely great to have here in Sunday Night Lights. And I'm glad that we have him both, as a driver and just as someone who constantly comes in for interviews. He's great to talk to. And he's always too eager to help if someone's struggling a little bit as well, which is great to see in the growing Skippy community.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to have him on board, and he's really sort of grown up in the last little bit in the Skippies, and he's now starting to lead the way amongst the really competitive drivers. Next on our list is Mr. Timo Vascalampi. You and your Finnish compatriot Sammy, you confused me tonight, mate, with the changing livery. You and your new red and black, and Sammy, of course, in the Team Milo livery. But you guys set a cracking pace up the front there, albeit looking a little bit sedate until that final chicane, mate. Tell us how your run through that final stages of the last lap went.
Well, I didn't want to be in lead at that point. Of course, it's the worst position for the last lap. And, well, I did what I could. I ended up in the middle, and Sammy drifted a bit to the middle under braking, and I just couldn't avoid him. But it was very lucky. No one was damaged and no one was killed and so on. But yeah, it was very difficult to win from that position coming for the second. But it was a decent race, anyways.
Yeah, mate, good result. Strongest field of the week, of course. Plenty of points there for yourself, hopefully, towards defending that official title. But certainly, great to see yourself, Sammy, and Tim at the front of this bumper field, really showing that last season we may have missed a few of the front runners, but they're all coming back, and the Sunday Night Light boys are still putting on a great show, mate. So congratulations on your result here tonight. Hopefully many more to come. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go, mate?
Well, you guys, of course, were broadcasting this and awesome community.
Excellent. All right, Timo, mate, really appreciate your support as always. And we look forward to speaking to you many more times in the remainder of the season, mate. Have a good one.
Let's hope so. Bye.
There you go, Corey, Timo Vescalampi. Of course, he did take out the official season last season. Massive run it was for him throughout the season. And then finished second in Sunday Night Lights. He and Sammy really are jousting all season. It looks like it's going to be that way this season as well.
Yeah, and that's going to be very interesting to see how the season pans out. Even with Tim Hendrickson in the mix, as we know, he threw down the gauntlet last week, saying that he was going to look at taking out the title for this season. So it's going to be a very tight battle up there in the top between the three of them, and it's going to be. I'm very keen to see what the rest of the season has in store for us, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So looking forward to it, and I'm hoping these guys can make a good run at the title, so to speak. So moving on next, we have ANZ and Team Milo's own Ben Snell. Ben, mate, you've raced strongly here all week, and then the quali run let you down, and it was all a battle from there, mate. How'd you end up?
Hi guys. The one race of the week I didn't want to snell it, and I snelled it.
Yeah, mate. Look, it was a bit of a dogfight in there by the looks, and you finished all the way down in P15. You know, even that was up one spot. I can't believe after the runs I've seen you do in quali this week, towards the tail end of the week at least. Certainly not what you were looking for, obviously.
I probably had pace for top 5. Just unfortunately didn't put it together. I won next to my fast lap in quali, so started at the back, and then tried to channel my inner DJ. I think I was up to about 8th or 7th by the end of lap 3, and then just absolutely buried it on the outside of turn 1, and ended up at the back of the field and trundling along in my own little world. So it is what it is, but I'll be back next week, hopefully stronger and better than this week.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Yeah, it was such a shame because I know you've got a competitive pace around here. And, well, look, mate, let's bring on next week. Roll it on and we'll see what it brings. We're at Road America, of course. And for those of you listening at home or watching at home, Ben and I recorded the latest episode of the Top Split podcast today. We're talking about all things new Skippy with the updated tyre model and physics of the car, and the fact that it's bringing all these top drivers back to the series, which is fantastic to see. That along with a bit of Sunday Night Lights and what's going on there, of course. Of course, it's all happening right here. But anyway, Ben, thanks for joining us once again, mate. Do appreciate your support. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
As always, a big shout out to you guys for putting the broadcast on, and a big welcome to Team Milo's newest member, Sammy Tagala.
Beautiful, yeah, Sammy leading the way tonight, putting Team Milo on top of the pops. All right, Ben. Thanks, mate. We'll catch you in the coming weeks.
Thanks, guys.
There you go, Corey. That about does it for our interviews and for our race tonight. Look, again, it was pretty sedate up front. The three guys racing smart. Then you get to the midfield and everyone really going hard for what positions remained. It shaped up for a good race, a high quality race, representative of the guys that were out there.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. And that goes to speak to the skill of the drivers again. I go on about this almost every week, but you really got to have a top quality field, and it seems that each and every week, we generally get the best of the best. I'm just a little bit heartbroken there for Synergy Sim Racing's Brenton Hobson. Hopefully, we can see him back in a Skippy in the coming weeks and doing well. But it's good to see, we have a fresh face coming out and mixing it up with these boys and not doing so bad until his unfortunate incident. And congratulations again to Sammy J. Toykala. What a way to win the race. That was just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully I'll have my colour schemes embedded in my brain next week, and I'm pretty sure I called it right. But, I'll have to go and have a look at the replay and see what we get. But folks, that'll about do us for this week. Of course, you can find us at all the places that you can see on your screen at the moment. All things Top Split. This broadcast, of course, will be uploaded onto YouTube. The replay, at least. The Top Split Discord community is where we do the broadcast commentary from, and all the post-race interviews. Top Split podcast can be found on the topsplit.com. Latest episode is out right now, actually. As we said, Ben Snell and I talking about all things Skippy, and Facebook is where we keep things up to date as well. Obviously, we're here on Twitch. AJ, the good doctor, is offline at the moment, but he can find him on Twitch when he's back there. And the chaotic one, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, let everyone know where they can find your good self.
You guys can find me at twitch.tv/Corey Has No Life 13, but we will throw up a mature content warning. If you think my language is colourful here, you should wait to see it on my stream.
That's it. All right, folks, that'll about do us for tonight. Thank you once again for joining us both on track and in the live broadcast. We really do appreciate the support, and we look forward to bringing you the best Skippy action in town once again, this time next week. But until then, on behalf of Corey Steinhauser, I am Alex McKellar, and until next time, I will say ciao for now.